probably about a
Three. Mics are live.
Okay, mics are live.
I will. Oh,
You got out.
I'll call this meeting to order of the City of Berlin Plan Commission meeting, January 27th, 2026. Can I have a roll call, please?
Right, Burgess,
Here.
Hammond,
Here.
Kubiak,
Here.
Reeves,
Here.
and Prisco.
Here.
We have 5.
Thank you. General public comments is next, which we have none. Approval of minutes from the Plan Commission meeting, November 25th, 2025.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting on November 25th, 2025.
I'll second that.
Motion and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're just gonna wait for Mary.
Yeah, I'm sure that's fine.
We will go on to number 5, which is the public hearing, ordinance amendment to discuss the amendment of 2-509, which is relating to the number of members for a quorum. So it conventionally usually having half plus 1 with the assumption that there is a 5 or 7 member commission. We previously, our number was at 5. We had a 7-member committee, so really a quorum is only 4. So we're just setting it in the ordinance so that it is reflective of that to a quorum of 4 instead of 5.
Okay.
Oh, but this is a public hearing now. Sorry, I need to open up the public hearing. Would anybody like to speak in favor of the ordinance amendment? Anybody looking to speak for? Anybody looking to speak for? Anybody looking to speak against? Anybody looking to speak against? Anybody speaking against the ordinance amendment? If not,
Oh,
is Mary okay?
yeah, it's
Okay.
just
The
the feedback from this.
Okay, all right, then I will close that public hearing. Does anybody have any questions on that?
And I guess I can just reiterate, that as the attorney's Eric's letter, it suggests the 4 number kind of
Right.
That sounds like it's conventional for all the other communities they work with and should be, an improvement over our current situation.
So this will now go to council for final? Okay, so we don't need any other motions on this?
You should recommend it to council.
It's not on the agenda, but
It's
it just
the
says,
decision number.
oh, number 6, sorry, number 6. Okay, on to number 6 is the decision, accept the proposed ordinance amendment.
I'll make a motion that the planning commission accepts the amendment of section 2-509 record as provided by the city attorney and recommend to common council is passing.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Do I need a roll on this one or just at council level? Okay, I'm so used to doing council ones. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That'll get sent on to common council.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so then the next one is on to the public hearing ordinance amendment to discuss amending the language for section 882-716C application. Let me get to my papers. Is this the Earth Station one, Tim?
Yes.
First,
Yeah, and it's just a fee that was in the ordinance that is gonna be standardized by being,
okay,
it's
let's,
a little bizarro here, but
so can you explain to me what these even satellite Earth Station permits? Is
it's,
this just like your antennas,
yeah,
your,
if you technically have a satellite dish, there was a ordinance fee that now is going to be on file with the clerk's office, which is standard for all the other ones that we have, and I think also what other communities do for this.
okay. So we are opening the public hearing, right? For section 82-716C application. Anybody wishing to speak for? Anyone wishing to speak for? This is so much fun. Anyone wishing to speak for? Anyone wishing to speak against? Anyone wishing to speak against? Anyone wishing to speak against section 82-716C? If not, I will close the public hearing. All right, we'll move on to number 8 then, which is the decision, accept the proposed ordinance amendment. The recommendation is to recommend to common council for approval of the proposed ordinance amendment for section 82-716C.
I'll make a motion to recommend to common council for approval of the proposed ordinance amendment for section 82-716C application.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
You in favor? Okay,
Thank you. Okay, so the next one is the public hearing ordinance amendment to discuss the amending language for section 82-363, which is area regulations for historic downtown business properties. Let me move my paperwork. Okay, so just as a little background, I'm just gonna read Tim from your report. Nope, that's my wrong paper. I'll let you do this one.
all right, yeah, this one's just simply put, we're gonna make the side and rear setbacks the same rules as we have for the front setbacks. I have determined that there are at least several in the region communities that do this, as well as it's also makes it so that it's easier for people to interpret this section for the business district for downtown. And it'll help with possible rebuilding and just combining of properties. The and it would be limited to the B1 business district.
So and that's what I was just gonna highlight, that this zoning, issue is in usually the downtown areas where the historic, buildings and, really this is just going to help preserve that historic area.
Yeah, and I'd say that it's one of those that I think we're making the same determination other communities have, that your historic downtown, want to make it as easy to build, rebuild as possible.
We're trying not to make it any harder on those in that area. So I like that this, especially in a historic downtown like we have. Okay. I will open up the public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak for, section 82-363? Anyone wishing to speak for? Anyone wishing to speak for? Anyone wishing to speak against? Anyone wishing to speak against? Anyone wishing to speak against section 82-363? If not, I will close the public hearing. And then we will move on to number 10, which is the decision, accept the proposed ordinance amendment for section 82-363.
I'll make a motion to recommend to common council for the approval of the proposed ordinance amendment for section 82-363.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right.
Thank you. On to number 11 is Wisconsin Act 68 and the share opinion letter from city attorney and discuss anticipated follow-up steps. So Tim, all my papers are in?
Yeah, this one, I just have, this is more for your information because I do not have anything fully prepared at this point. I'm still kind of processing through this. It could be, on one hand, it looks like it could be a fairly simple, straightforward for some of the changes that the state has mandated, and some of the other ones are going to be more involved. I think our, the preliminary plat and final plat may be fairly heavily affected by this, but I kind of have to read through it more carefully, and I think that by this next month, I should have a better handle on this and at least something of a plan for how we're going to be going forward, recommending to that plan commission.
Sure. So at very minimum, we have, you guys all have in your packets, the information from our city attorney, outlining what we need to know for Act 68. So make sure that we're reading up on that again. Tim, we'll probably touch base with that on a later date when you have more of a clearer understanding. Does anybody have any questions on that one?
Just as a general summary as how I read this is, many communities traditionally have withheld final permits for things if utilities are not in place, which makes sense because you need to have water and sewer and roads and all of those types of things available before you start using the property, right, the home or whatever it is. And this basically says that we cannot hold that up for completion of utilities. So I'm not exactly sure in practice how that will work, but I guess we will find out how things
How they kind of pan out.
My fear is that it's going to ultimately be a difficulty also for the final property owners, for whoever ends up buying this house, that, utilities can get finished on. But hopefully that will be addressed prior to all this going into place and be figured out, and communities will find another way to make sure that things are done appropriately. But it's just a new wrinkle, I guess.
So one of my favorite
More
terms,
information to come, Tim will do
Yeah.
more research, but that's kind of my initial take on it.
one of my favorite terms is clear as mud. So
I would agree with that.
we'll follow up on that when we need to. On to number 12 is old business, to be used to request items of old business be put on a future agenda. Does anybody have anything for old business? Anything for number 13 is new business. Does anybody have anything for new business? I guess my only, technically does this fall under new business? Sure. I just want to do a mention of many of our commissions are looking for help. We need members of the community to step up. So if anybody knows, especially, Planning Commission is one of those, that if you know anybody that would be a good fit to pass them Jesse's way, my way, whatever it takes, but we really need the next generation of leaders to step up. So just a comment on that one. Next, number 14, the next meeting date is February 24th, 2026.
I will not be here for that.
Okay,
I don't know if it'll affect anything, but
well, as long as, we'll see. Well, it might be a close one. Depending on if Mary's able to or not, which we might be close, so.
Do we want to pencil in a potential?
Yeah,
I know this is a little time to think ahead, but do we want to, try to think if the last Thursday of a given month, for example, or if we're pushing it into the following month? I know that if we do that, I believe the tentative presentation of the land use and implementation, I believe
sure.
chapters of the comprehensive plan are scheduled for the March meeting.
Do Thursdays work for you all, or are we bumping that back into,
I have meetings Thursdays.
okay? So Thursday sounds like it's not going to work.
Really, any day other than Thursday.
So can it be bumped up? Do we have anything on the 17th in here?
That's the day for Board of Appeals, but so far, there's nothing, and
Could it be a following Board of Appeals if need be?
yeah, I think that would, as long as people are fine with it being, I'd say penciling it in about 6:30 potentially if we, and I would have clarification by Friday
Sure.
of this week.
The only question about moving it up a week, which shouldn't be a problem, is do we have anything that needs to be publicly notified for that meeting? Because that would be the only thing for your
I think
timing,
we're clear on those.
putting things in the paper, getting things out in the mail. If you don't have anything that you anticipate is gonna require that, then I wouldn't see a problem.
I just
don't
feel
know
like-
what's on the agenda.
Bumping that into March is gonna be a disaster. I mean, we're just gonna be playing catch up again, so I would rather if we can squeeze it in on the 17th and be done.
Okay,
Can we still accommodate the request for the
Yeah.
land combination if we move that up?
that would be perfect because we're gonna have, I mean, it should be in the paperwork after the 10th, so yeah, that should be,
Okay, I just wanna make sure we don't accidentally bump that guy again,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Even farther.
maybe they'll be happy to know that they'll be
yeah,
within a week of when they would have been otherwise, so.
sure.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yep. Okay, so then we're tentatively looking at the 17th, but possibly at 6:30, following the,
I would say that I haven't, I mean, there's one conditional use that could possibly come in, but I think I would have had it by now if
Okay.
it were, gave them the one you did like, basically 2.5 weeks in advance of that meeting date, and
so you'll keep us though informed, we can always adjust that.
I'd say that it's more likely than not that it should just be the regular 6
Regular
months,
6
as long as
o'clock.
it's fine with everybody.
Okay,
Um, And
all right,
I will reach out if something changes.
so the 17th at 6 o'clock, if we need to change it, Tim will notify us. On to number 15 is adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned at 6:17.
Well done.